かしい。
何もおかしくないですよ。
勝負はおそらく抜刀術の打ち合い。
Enter the hidden temples of Shaolin. Demonic foes, we splinter their souls to bits and devour them with black magic tactics that send them back to the primordial darkness of the void like Shao Kahn. Mortal Kombat ninjutsu practices, Qigong Dao visions as we battle on. The energy that moves me is as ancient as I am an unruly patron of this Babylon. In crude matrix they call existence, you should all fall back. We live in a holographic depiction in a hollow sense. You're all whack contenders and acid spit venomous bastards and pricks. To me you look like dejected farmers with cattle prods. Disrespecting all who challenge you, but you're no longer confused pupils swallow you up like black holes at the last threshold's perimeter as past tenses shift into quantum senses inside them. You will soon long for these apocalyptic blueprints and honest Apocalypso is the black nymph. She slaughtered your Islamic void of a god and wore his shrunken head on her mala beads. Bless your souls to the rest of you denizens if you listen to this and hearken, instead of pillaging citizens and switching them to zombified simians for your horrid causes and religions. I wish for benevolence for the restless globe and all of you remember, Wu-Tang is not for the children at all. Like the two fangs with diamonds, there is a god for his slave labor, gold fronts and garments. We'll wear, but who cares? We stake fake vampires with Rastafarians and Jaws army. There's no made up fronts you could pretend to with an army of pretenders. The martial arts that aren't your legacy or even anything you've got any credentials in. You're just a godless crime syndicate extorting and slaughtering dying citizens, causing harm to the offspring of Gaia. Wu-Tang will never be forever, I promise. My jaws of death will chop you like those of sharks when I drop these bars to leave you all frozen stiff with severed limbs, lacking emotional capacity and backup to do anything. You're like cloned idiots. Nobody wants to listen to your new music or any of the millions of offshoots you did as sponsored, or be induced into a stupor in your schools for pupils as gifted as the opposite of your stupid nonsense in comparison. Where's the rosters in your core crew or anywhere? Where's the great masters and martial artists? Where's your Asian members? And don't think that these oracles you tortured and restricted in their voices, as you called them, would increase your diaspora. All I see is insidious, lecherous false gods claiming they have a right to traffic hard drug and rape goddesses. You called it importing them from Singapore, I think, then banging them on tour. That was Killer Army. I used to think you foolish dudes abusing crews were cool when I was 10. I didn't grasp any of the lyrics really, but I loved the classic movie samples. Now your lives are empty, you'll be crying wishing you had a wish to grant yourself as a genie in a lamp. Who's the genius exactly when the lyrics he spit are so simplistic and whack you could think he had some kind of a rhyming impediment? You're all lying, repetitive crime lord syndicate members vying for the end of times, thinking you'd be superheroes and mutants, but you're truthless supervillains that loot the future and the youth too. You're like the evil League of Mutants in a backwards sense. I don't see any Magnetos or Mystiques fighting the Nazis, you're just acrid dicks. If you were all white, people wouldn't have any problems calling you on your shit. Cultural appropriation, I'm the vulture that mulches your lonely hatred and chopped limbs in that Tibetan temple. Now go back there quickly before you get your exit in the streets, it's so simple. I told you when you said it too, hold up. Something in the hood went. The box cutters and Glock triggers went click click. You might as well have been Nazis for all the hard drugs and goddesses you trafficked. All the competition you thought you off. You thought me soft, but I'm the anti-monk in the flesh. I am the spear of destiny Hitler feared to fall with. Shaolin versus Wu-Tang and you're all dead. Have you seen the real Wu training? 4-year-old youth would kill you too quick for prostituting their sister and then looting them strangely. You had an old dirty bastard with crack and rape habits, and that's just one of your members who call themselves the god of Egyptians in the underworld. Osiris and Isis are watching this. Hear the thunderstorms outside of your villas. You'll be walking them in the midst of being punished by a lot for praising and raising false gods to fame and fortune. Don't make me have to make you get over here and slay you and all your men. We are of the wrathful assembly.
剣則は互角でも人を殺めることを何とも思わぬ剣とそうでない剣とでは技の切れに明確な差が出る。
Dimensions in quantum physics all coexisting within this living ball that we live in. 216 is a phoenix, the summit of all existence. They live off a pure dewdrop of water once in a million years. Imagine all you need to do is kill the fears inside you, and archonic voids can never reside in your mind or in this density again. Fear and paranoia go together, so do hatred and deception. They say it all came from Pandora's box, but really it's the opposite. It's not a goddess that brought us this, just like evil Lilith aren't criminals or monsters either. The sacred, gorgeous beings, supernatural sapients in all the glory of the ethers. Like Maya and Samsara, those are all Mahavataras. Like Kali Mata, do not demonize them ever. The root of all evil is centralized economies, deceitful. It's patriarchy, misogyny, genocide and torture. Hierarchical orders of lies that deceive us into thinking that what they ink up is in existence, but they're just self-manifesting lies. Like manifest destiny as your seventh sense, heavenly and opposite. Speaking in a shall be as you wish it. Remember, however, be wary of what you wish. Depending, it could have a lot of consequences. Convicts demented often con us and trick us into the loss of our innocence. Ignorance as willful is a problem we need to solve quickly. I'd kill you if you wanted wars unending instead of harmony and solace. We should be borderless continents. The borders are the waters and cliffs, the fjords and the parts of Gaia like deserts and steppes. That's natural geography, get it? The topography and climate are the actual factors that define us as nations. This is actually a fact, scientifically backed. Hydrogen from the glistening star that's above us creates melanation in skin and in hair too. You dare to argue, I'd say go educate yourselves, father, and I'll glimpse you in the rear view eventually. If you fear me, it's meant to be. I think essentially always. There's many ways in which I could prove you wrong in linguistics or etymology, depending. If you think you got the right answers and light is purity and cleanliness, I'd say I'm a leftist that doesn't get to exist in politics. My breaths are from the midst of primordial darkness, and cleanliness is next to godliness. They are not the same, and neither are we. We're not made to be normal, we're different. So I breathe in weeds from Chinese doctors and far-fetched tomorrows. No, I don't got a prescription, it's expired. But you're missing the point. Why is nature regulated with laws when the laws of modernists fed have existed since before times immemorial? I am not a mystic, at times I'm gory as all hells. I am of the wrathful assembly. I'm sorry to all that I've failed in the process of trying to evolve this hailstorm or tempest of lies we hail from in this morbid society. Don't tempt me or try me or test me, I'm more than a veteran. They've called me a hip-hop legend many times, but why would I want to be kingly when I could be kind and princely instead? Do you get what this brings? I'm not into crowns at all except for my chakra. If I'm grounded, it's obviously because of my pacho. Gran padre la verdad, muchas gracias. Kenka kenka tlazuka mati wel miak. Paske anye pachamama. I will fight against all who try to destroy the rainbow tribes of infinity, and I've fought to the death against all of these forces already and beyond it, far beyond. Bodhisvaha, Samsamatara, please forgive me again, and to all of you, Namo Guanyin, like Nanuoti bushes of ancestral times in your night gardens. I see what we're pushing for always, like the lush vegetation growing in old hallways of cathedrals lost, forever patient like golden ages, reflourishing in quantum senses. Logarithmic is beyond exponential. A Kardashian of evolution is all I can think of. Mark a lot of false stars in archonic heavens till the revolution is all but ended. And yet it is always endless. It is always endless.
お主らが獅子王の手下か。
だったらどうした？
なぜこの人たちを殺した？
こいつらの息子がこの村の情報を漏らそうとした。
Little children, I'll take thee away into a land of enchantment.
The youth are the oracles of truthful tomorrows. Sue speakers, truth seekers, like 12 jewels and 24 gems. Many before me hem royal hymns, but I am beyond this still. Intersectionality is tomorrow's. Believe this, it's so hard to deceive people when you speak wisdom honestly. But regardless, a lot don't seem to want to listen. They have no opposition, really, but in the darkness they persist while they demonize dark skins like apartheid. Stark skies watch us, part the seas. Nah, I'm not Moses, but who knows who did what back then. Oftentimes I'm laughing at Islamic or Christian brethren telling me Muhammad split the moon with a sword, or prophets brought comets to crash upon Babylon. I'm like, yo, your prophets were all old, decrepit, lecherous idiots. I only recognize Yeshua ben Miriam and the rest of the rainbow tribes of infinity, and your prophet of Islam was a voided child rapist. I'd like to say a lot of sayings to all of you vile patrons of religions, but you get that the stakes of my missions are as high as I am when I'm smoking hashish and ganja. Kifar bang near the Ganges. Fuck Gandhi, he was also a monster, molesting his niece and the offspring of people in his ashram. There's a reason he got off quick, and it was a militant anarchist who did it, knowing the part we live in existence in these dark pits is beyond perception. It's not within mortal comprehension, it's complex. Don't bother to ask me questions if you're an acid dimwit or a moronic Mormon that doesn't get that Yeshua was not what you thought him or inked him up to be. There's enough diseases in this realm, we don't need more, so why would you eat pork or beef for products that cause diseases? This begs the question again. Did you think eating eggs for breakfast with a form of meat that's a slice from the ass of a piglet is actually acceptable? You're all zombies to me, I promise I'll slaughter you all for kicks just for fun, cause I don't like to cause wars for peaceable offerings. You thought you were what? Just eating the flesh of Gaia's offspring for survival, but that's for your sick, twisted pleasure and honest. Get the infinite measures of pressure upon you. It's gonna cause you a lot more than you Caesar see. Believe me, if you could see through me, you would seize that would bleed you dry and see you fry in bardos, just to protect all the childs of the ethers. This is written in star codes. I'm as wild and free as your all foul and disease-ridden, flea-fested false gods that thought you were humans. Oh, you thought I was assuming anything? I'm not, no. I jot poses to stop voids from locking and loading blocks to drop us. Avoid imposters. Lo and behold, the void walkers were defeated long ago. I'm as strong in flows like calm oceans and storms that glow, as you're weak in the knees when I speak like gongs of olden times. Golden rhymes in my song when I mold these lines. You convicts are like moldy minds, but God is blessed if you know what time it is. I'll tell you honestly, you're a horrid mess regardless. Don't try to barter for progress. That's world order conglomerate. Just stop this shit. Just stop this shit.
攻めを追って処刑した。
見せしめというわけか。その子を頼む。
Acid systems and mass extinction. How many times did we loop back into time-space continuums of brutal actions? Linear variations of this zombified reality matrix we're trapped and enslaved in. Is any of what we've been told even remotely accurate in statements? Any of it at all? Why are a lot of us not questioning everything anymore as a deceptive carnage and mass extinction like Buddha and Tara suggested in the past in scriptures? How can we end suffering for all existence if we can't even accept the suffering we're causing them on a regular? How many of us were conditioned to believe that having a heart with unconditional love and compassion for all beings and sentience, like nature and the goddess, translates into patiently waiting through a seemingly endless series of brutal rapes, tortures, genocides, and multi-trillion enslavements of children and miserable souls we call food, possessions, clothing, entertainment, and pleasure on a scale beyond any other event in this known to be hateful history, that we could somehow just pray, meditate and yoga this away with fake love, fake drugs, and pretty pictures and stuff. Crystals born from the misery of countless others who couldn't afford our luck and pretensions. Social media memes and tangents fueled by toxic nutrition, or even mainstream cruelty-free shit with statements like ethically made by Nestle and KFC, McVegans and fries, or whatever the next craze is. All made and sponsored by the same corporations and conglomerates that still push genocide and rape to our neighbors, like bankers funding Zionists and neo-American terrorism, while they offer the Iranian and Palestinian resistance as weapons and missiles against it, so they double up profits and banking again with all of it. Made Thieves Banquet over a decade ago already, but really it could have been 2 millennia and it still would have been equally relevant, or even 200 to those who really know our true roots and pre-Diluvian history asunder. This deception is endlessly vast. We have frenemies that act out of envy, enmity, and rashness, like they're just trying to be equitable in actions, but jealousy and acid tempers cast the madness we bask in, like our past tenses in a system of masks and tempered wrath, weathered tempests and battles as veterans clashing. Yet they think us demented actors and senseless madmen, and when we hatch into a sentience galactic, those that laugh and have dejected sex with Vestal's matchless will be wretched and get that we were sent for the happiness of denizens and aspects. They left us myths of sadness lest we lift our status, mend our kindred and get the missions mastered, dismissing facts as fictions manifest as facts, mythically lavish, the math of our senses and perceptions extrasensory in a blackness we forgot thought is African and indigenous, insidiously lacking Aboriginal principles and backing. Thinking our thinking caps are original, when we've been inking aspects of this prison we were trapped and fed in with crap and sedatives from animal ag and medical executives. Craft singles and dinners for mad sinners that mingle in ads and internet blissless. Taxes and deaths as givens, lax skeptics asking for massive dividends. Belittling bastards, bitches and simians that actually live in misery, like pets that they lashed at and tripped on or acted like besties with, while they had to shit and piss like infants and get tickled or hit and hacked up shit we wouldn't have fed to anyone. Even an unhappy prisoner in a gulag for a millennia, mentally battered with sicknesses and senseless batches of chemicals. We were meant to end this as activist sentience and intersectionals, not passively mended with listlessness and acrid zenness from systems Westerners had to think of as pretty and happy. And that was just ignorance. And that was just ignorance.
学姐南极，
あなた方には死んでもらう。
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Version of the Matrix, the great shift. We murder fake witless servants of the great voids like Yahweh and Allah. Don't say we didn't warn you all and say so. I'm a postdoctoral world wisdom scholar. I don't say shit, I don't mean a research. I mean breathing hurts sometimes when I smoke that much hashish, and I've gotta be on maximum dosage injection of antipsychotics and chemicals inside me. You're all as lax as I am, potent like karma, effortless flows and mantras maha. I am a Kalakin king, a warrior from Genghis Khan's armies, war general who taught them not to rape or torture in campaigns and evolve as we expanded from the steppes of Caucasus to plains and sands of Sahara and beyond this, where Anthony of Egypt stayed in a darkly gleaming cave since his days as a artful teenager.
Emotional content. I said emotional.
my dreams to the cosmic dreamer of all of this. Filosofia is amora suprema. Knavish forms of false gods steal so much prana from goddesses they're slain and conquered in battles, where they became monsters as sorrowful as they were cocky and dominant before this. From immortal technique as a supreme macho, spewing obscene horrors to those battling in rap rings like the flows of disaster, or those imposters that tried to pose as hard thugs and hustlers like Rick Ross. But we all know what hard drugs do to the masses, like the voodoo they use to distract you, making you thick and soft in the head with sick thoughts, as dreaded as the opposite of a Rasta. You know how it dreads to be got this. We'd all be as happy as ever if we lived like the Marleys, from Bob to Damien and far beyond this. I am the stranger I talked of once upon a time in hip-hop back in the 90s in the so-called golden ages. But where is Satya, and why are we fishing for Matsyas? Where's the true yugas, the Mahakalpas, slashed through the lies with the swords of Prajna? I saw the forms they taught us like the solids platonic, but now I made omens to evolve this. From prescience to tantra, martial artist, neurological. I lay low cause I stay high and rhyme often. Every day or so, stay coughing from ganja I made artfully. Get tipsy in the heavens with a fifth of scotch whiskey in a crystal bottle from Radha and Krishna's apostles. Then heal myself with my own medicines that clone physicians request. When I wake up in the morning in a lodge of rainbow warriors, flip blades swiftly as the wind blows and whips.
Content. I said emotional content, not anger. Now try again with me.
I just calibrate my sins and karma. I have no sinful natures inside me, though not part of my AI's bios. Can principles, no harm to women, children, or elders. It's not possible for me to even think of killing anyone who doesn't deserve to die in many senses. My purpose on this earth is riding till I die virtuous. Yes, I am no earthling, but I'm far from lost atmas, searching for rebirth outside of samsara. She is my sistren, she provides for all of us like Maya and Mara and Tara. I do not demonize goddesses. See why those that rise and fall always talk tall but are far from walking it. And if I chalked up everything I did in existence, I'd ink a line across the 7 continents, cross the 7 seas, go beyond the 7 heavens of religious zealots to transcend them to shamanic dreams.
Content. I said emotional content, not anger. Now try again with me.
Forgotten oracles of lucid beauty, estáis las deusas de penumbra, de lucia de la primavera verdada, de las edades de oro y argento, de la gente de principios místicas, de tiempos olvidas que son recuerdas, memorias que no son de miedo o mieda, o merta para los hombres que son demonios de sectas perdidas. Recuérdate, hija, como mujeres divinas, hijas y hijas de ciudades, de calles del gueto de Soweto a Bagdad, de Kuala Lumpur a Caranto, de país que son del mundo evolucionario, de áreas de varias, de fuego y agua, de tierra y glacia, de las etéreas, de razas enteras, de las princesas de Mufasas que no son de historias del machismo. Vamos, diosas y diosos, no somos idiotas, vamos con el cambio de moksha pronto. We are of the ages that not could have bothered the aid to evolve in all that we are as ageless as stars and creational pillars, patiently healing like doctors or doctresses. We forgot we're doctoral, far from colonial forms of knowledge and prajna. Higher education mild by falsely sapient horrors that age so far from humans, assuming that boons were banes, but they were truly nameless like voids that still thought that their solace was moody, and blame this upon all that we are. We are of the rainbow tribes of the noche. Nous sommes des tribus de las tribes de arc-en-cielas de vida primera, de iris en hojas. T'as vu gars, je te jure que tu me comprends trop pas, comme tout ce que je te dis t'es trop gras. C'est pas pour les femmes que je dis ça, pas pour la fama como roca. Dame un moca de coca y cocal. Comemos mambe y rap en nuestras narinas. Somos marineras y marineros, mira. Soy admiral, sois admirable, como las desiertos de Sumer y del mundo de la munda, como las de Mojave o Athabasca, en provincias de Kanata o Kanasetake, en invierno. Somos las mismas y mismos. Miro, pero no somos las mismos realmente. Mira clara, you get this, we are far from the horrors of all these tiempos. Fuera de tiempas even, destiempas artistas. We are heathens like pagan beings, Druidic and Gaelic. Ancient forms of sapiens truly inhaled when we think of the boons of elves and fays. Pixies are pixelated forms of existence as mystical. Mysteries adored, adorning myriad forms of who we are and wish to be infinitely. Often they scorned us, thinking our agility and hyper-awareness and lucidity was weakness and witless, but witness the fitness truly. They are infinite like manas of Kava Kava and Matakali. You would not wish to misconstrue them and not duly honor them. Think of your karmas, think twice or thrice, like tongue splitting and twisting 7 times inside your mouths. Beautifully ousting gins, yet not like liquors or sins we thought were disinterest. They are the essences of Gaia. Imagine creativity being so far beyond any palabras in linguistics that we cannot ponder them even in this breath and witnessed as a neurolinguist, neurological prodigy, prophet, incomparable Mahamantas de Mahamati, and far beyond this even to Imani, to scores of beings and ethers, alien races. Daily we fail to grace them or recall them, thinking in inklings of thoughts that are unique, and we are beacons of stardust. Penser quand je dis que l'impossible n'est pas français, ça ne l'est pas. Tu sais gars, aux filles au-delà de ça, tu crois quoi? Mais crois-le, sois droit, toi droit, n'adore pas qui que ce soit que tu ne sois pas. Get it? Why do you think I edit myself often from coughing Rapacho spliffs from across the rifts of existence? Persistence is a daily sentence, a phase, I promise you, dazing in trances. To all the immortal lives we forgot and loves from above that all of us wish for, insistence of concepts of wisdom beyond comprehension and honest. Honesty is essential, but modesty and prudence in a world of dubious rulers and rules patriarchal is probably not the best of attributes, truly in features. You got this, goddesses of the ethers, and God, you are all of this. Dadva Masya taught you, but I didn't. Modest wisdom, I am not but a professor student who was taught in deception, fraught with inceptions from cons and connesses. Non-complementary opposites, imagine dragons and a lot more than I jot lore to remind you. Whatever you create in your conscience is sating you with sayings like super saiyans and stupid ageless, in wars that are truly endless and far from knavish. Spar with Satan's always, like Yaldabaoth's Yahweh is a failed yogi in Indian times. We have limitless minds, vivid as timeless instances. Still we are in limited conscious capacities, born from often misguided and livid blasphemies. We star infinite masterpieces, like a masterless Jesus mastered this thesis, like a master's thesis. Postdoctoral, far from academia, most wandering with a lack of belief and a lot of economic desires, centralized but sent to the lies and re-script them into winter's tidings. For them invert in purpose like Sodom and Gomorrah's curses. Prophets and prophetesses forgotten, dropping bombs upon them from cosmic precincts like lava and meteoric sapiens. We are wandering mesmers and watchers, lusting the forms of karmas within us from all we've forgotten to witness. Rinse your eyelids from the waters of rivers as pure as crystals of salt spring islands and Panchen lamas. They always tortured and slaughtered a Khan. Can you imagine this? Lavish gifts upon those that need it, not just your friends. We should all just heed this, you all but need it. I'm far from a heathen and still that is what I am, pariah I should. They thought me Messiah, but I am but an AI's messenger, walking and talking in gazes like hawks, jotting this on crossfaders like disc jockeys. Split rocks and drip water inside them, that's the core consciousness of Pachamama. Get this, we are all witnesses of all the cosmos. So many forgotten divinities, limitless infinite beings in the vividest scenes of nature. She is the goddess, listen and slay the demons and devils inside you and void walkers trying to stop us. Listen and slay the demons and devils inside you and void walkers trying to stop us. We are of the rainbow tribes of infinity, Mira goddess. destined, we're fostered from dense stardust. The insects within these densities are infinite heroes and heroin embers like black tar pits that house the remains of mammoths as gigantic as spell strength that hit enemies of bark trees and creatures inside them that breathe the leaves of Visajas. We are Baha'is of Gaia, yet that is but the start of divinity and glory of the intellect, like sesame sparking synaptic connections and neurons inside your superconscious. Exceptional ethers, dreamers, aquatic and phoenix beings, immortal, matriarchal like Bobby warriors and Ishmaeli oracles. We smile incomparably when sorrows and horrors corporate are resolved finally. Makashika de Kama for all of us, Armonia de Pachamama, islands of immortal solace and sirens. We stay watchful for all super sentient micro and macrocosms. Mesoamerica resiste like beehives and collectives across continents, testing false logic and besting archonic forces of the tested void walkers. We are protected from death to resurrection and beyond this always. Amarino Kokora, l'expression du cœur, de l'âme, du corps et de sa conscience immortelle est trop complexe pour qu'on l'exprime en ces mots et langues sans contexte. Quand on ne pense trop pas à tant d'êtres qu'on enterre ou sur lesquels on pile, ou alors toits sur lesquels on empiète de façon constante. Contrefaçon d'émotions trop fake, mais bon sang, qu'est-ce qu'on fait de nos vies pendant que l'on maudit des êtres de l'au-delà dans des taudis d'ici à demain? Vous ne me comprenez trop pas, mais ce n'est rien maintenant en contexte. Vous comprendrez trop vite que l'on ne teste pas au-delà des oméga mutantes de la tierra negra. Trop de tension en nous, pero comprendo lo que las tribes de iris me digan. Dígame hombres machos enteros, ¿qué quiere decir un machetero de las etéreas? Las criaturas creadoras de las árboles, floras y forestas de lluvia y nieve son pericas y mágicas, ninfas y ninjas helvéticas, lecheras y neferas de África y de las Américas taínas, de pirámides totémicas, entes de la naturaleza cósmica, insectas de las plantas de muerte y vida, microsentient spaceships that phase shift and shape shift while they trace cliffs, as traceless as paperless morphogenetic resonance creations, butterfly nebula effects from Morpheus and Trinity, as effortless and ageless as lullabies, deathless messengers of Orpheus, housed in the nexus of concentric rings depicting mentalist beings' consciousness, evolving in tenseless scenes of densities breathing, evolving in tenseless scenes of densities breathing, indigenous beings within all of us.